So, out for another ride today, and wanted to go ahead and do another video while we're out, since I always have the camera here in the car, so we'll go ahead and use that. Today I wanted to talk about things not to do at a public play event. Now, pretty much everything I'm going to go over are things that I've seen, unfortunately, and these are just things that you should not do. And I'll probably go over one that I read about, and it's, you know, it could be fairly typical for open play, public play, or even con play, when you're getting all kinds of strangers coming in and you don't know what kind of socially inadequate assholes you're going to be dealing with. But there are definitely some things that common sense tell you shouldn't do, and some people are just lacking common sense. Now, if any of these things happen, I would hope that either the coordinator, the store owner, or whoever's handling the con and the gaming would kick the person out that's doing this kind of stuff. The first thing that you shouldn't see or you shouldn't do is don't come to a public play event stinking drunk. I used to see this all the time, and we ended up talking to the player, and he's after not coming back for a while because he was embarrassed, and then decided he did come back. He hasn't been doing the same thing. But I mean, if you're showing up to a gaming session, number one, you're driving to a gaming session and you smell like a vat of Jack Daniels, there's a problem. The biggest issue, though, is once you get there, your behavior is not going to be, shall we say, appropriate. I mean, I've seen people sit there stinking drunk talking about cunnilingus and stuff in front of little kids. Another guy came in who was drunk and talked about, you know, after they killed somebody, I'm going to skull fuck him. The DM just popped, told him no. I talked to him, he didn't come back. You know, these are all things that just don't do it, because when you're drunk, you're going to act like an idiot. And nobody needs that. It's not what people are coming and expecting when they're playing. The next thing that you definitely shouldn't be doing, and this is one I've seen more than anything, is sexual role play. One example, had a guy who was my age sit down and tell a girl at the table that he wished he was in the Human Centipede because he'd like to be the guy sewn to her ass. I had to take the guy aside. I quietly talked to him, and after he got done crying, he left, and he never came back. I mean, let's be honest, this is stuff that shouldn't happen. I know there are people out there who say, let people do what they want to do, but it's sexual harassment, that's being a jackass, and it's things that shouldn't be happening. Other things that I've seen are guys role-playing autoerotic asphyxiation fantasies at the table. And then I hear from a parent the next week who was the kid was sitting behind this jackass and went home, Mommy, what's autoerotic asphyxiation? And, you know, those are questions that shouldn't be asked because you're a jackass and play this way at a table. I mean, it runs the gamut. I even read one where some guy, I talked about this in another video, where some guy was playing a half-elf monk, and he made sure to point out how big the boobs were, and just, you know, go to the extreme of neckbeard behavior with how he was sexually role-playing this female character. And this should not be happening. And this guy thought he had the right to do it because he was in a paid event at a convention. And it ended up the police taking this guy out of there because he wouldn't leave, and he was a jackass. You know, just don't do this kind of stuff. Third example that I've seen, and I've only seen it once, was a guy bringing in manja porn. And he sat there reading it and making these weird noises, going, you know. And I ended up telling him, put it away, or you'll be ejected from the store. Now, the guy probably had issues that were deeper than that, but I don't care what your issues are. You should know you don't sit there and read porn at a table with kids sitting there and act like a total degenerate. You know, everything that I'm talking about are things that are common sense, and if you aren't an idiot, you understand there are things you just don't do in public. But it's one of those things, and I'm not going to say it's gamer culture or gamers, it's people. People are idiots, and they do stupid things. You know, just don't do these kinds of things. So basically that's it. Don't do what things that you know are heinously inappropriate things at the table. Don't do things that can be construed as sexual harassment. Don't role-play sex, even if it's not directed at somebody else. You know, don't do things that, look at it this way, don't do things that if you were to say or do to someone, they're going to slap you in the face or punch you. Or if you do it in front of someone who has a daughter there or a child, that they're going to come across the table and beat the living hell out of you. Just behave the way you should in polite society, because it's an open play event. So, you know, use common sense and don't do things that make you look like a total jackass. So that's about it. I'm going to do, there are a few other things that I believe shouldn't be done at the table that are not all these heinous things, and we're going to do videos on them individually, and we have some other stuff that we're going to put together. But that's it for this video. I may do something in a day or so talking about our encounters that we had this week. I'm not sure. I used to do a weekly update on encounters, but that's when we all played at the same table and we could all sit down and discuss it. But now everybody's running their own tables that I would usually do a video with, and so I don't know, maybe we'll see. But again, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and we'll see you next time.